The great season has gone beyond the horizon. And now it's time to evaluate what we got from this, the weirdest expansion DLC season pass thing. See what I did there? My brain is proud of that line. Anyways, first off, it's an ongoing expansion. I don't get why devs called it a season pass, but whatever. Okay then, now let's take a look what each major update has brought us. Starting with 2.0, the Horizons update. It brought us planetary landings and SRVs, and also instancing issues. Despite some things being broken, as usually they are for new things, regardless of what you may say, the whole thing brought a new feel and look for the game. So now, instead of planets being random marbles, you actually get some kind of perspective as well as especially when you plant your butt on a planet that resembles the skull of a guy from movie Mask. Besides, since that update, everyone has an opportunity to do this. Next was 2.1, the engineers. Oh no. Kill me! Okay, so this one's riddled with issues. I mean, I don't even know where to start. Oh wait, hey, do you remember commodities that were needed for grade 5 and 4 upgrades? Holy spiked dildo! Was this just an incredibly inept way of limiting rolling ability? Or was it more of an idiotic and inexplicable brain spasm that caused this feature's addition? Well, at least it quickly got taken out. Overall, engineers offered a lot of fantastical things, making almost every ship in the game usable for almost everything you wanted. From PvE perspective, it gave a leg up to ships and players, that I see as a good thing. But on the other hand, PvP became, well, much like your average thread on the forums about Elite and free-to-play. It was a masquerade of excrement. Engineers were introduced so barely balanced, I, in good conscience, cannot call this balancing. Heat weapons were insane, until they nerf hammered it to oblivion. Then healing beams showcased how inept the people designing engineers really were. And of course, shield boosters too are cause of horribly unvaried gameplay. Now, with all these OP things established in-game, devs simply cannot go nerfing and balancing things because they allowed people to get invested in the system before realizing how screwed up it was. So in short, Engineer Update is comparable to diamonds in a septic tank. Oh, and I returned to the game just as this update had its last days. The connection issues were as common as rapey events in B-movies. Then moving on to 2.2, the Guardian update. This one, I can say without a doubt, was just as successful as bungee jumping with a noose. Granted, ship launch fighters were a cool new addition, and so were tourism missions that actually are quite a big plus. But the thing that this update was named after in the first place, the Guardian stuff, was so well done. If it was chicken meat, it would still be roosting. Seriously, the Guardian runes were all copy-pasted that got later changed. And even more than that, the mission that Ramta gave, the only story mission thus far, at the time, with actual decent reward and lore elements, was broken! Broken until the next big update. How sad is that? I would be ready to say I love the Guardian mission, but I can't due to lack of in-game help tools and other little things about it. So yeah, a massive fail it was. Oh, and here comes the first Horizons exclusive ship, the Beluga. Oh, and speaking of self-performed triple bypass surgery, 2.3, the Commanders was even a bigger, honey, I dropped the baby moment. First off, okay, yes, megaships are okay for some, but for me it was meh, and the same goes for Dolphin, which by the way is just like Beluga, a Horizons exclusive. Asteroid Bases, on the other hand, was quite a nice addition, but the best thing for me, your fluffy bunny video maker, was the new camera, an absolute fantastic addition. And I really only have two complaints. Number one would be, as I said in my quality of life video, remove the fade out effect on UI when you remove it. And number two, 250 meter range limit from a ship when not docked for the camera is pretty bad, especially if you want to film a massive pimpmobile like a cutter. Now, as for holo-me, I find it quite useless as it really would have benefited to be released with space legs, but let's be honest, devs haven't talked about this in about, what, 2 years? So I say give up hope. Realistically, it serves two purposes, vanity and microtransactions. Still, as is, it's meh. I have my camera and I'm happy. Now, as for multicrew, the probably biggest thing about this update, it was, and still is, just as broken as Star Citizen. Yes, it perfectly fits. Seriously, to this day, you can encounter multi-crew issues constantly, which is also why no one uses it anymore. What a waste. See, multi-crew first came out lacking at least 50% of its original features that were intended for it to have. Why? Well, mostly because the system is trying to piggyback on the Wings system. You can't have Wings with multi-crew because, again, it's piggybacking on Wings system. You can't drive SRBs with multi-crew, you can't outfit your ship while multi-crew is active, and so on. Trading with multi-crew is useless, so is exploration, unless you intended to use it for sightseeing, and only combat aspect is useful with this feature. By the way, if you're thick and don't understand, fighting off pirates for your trader friend also counts as combat, not trading. At best, it's combining roles. So again, exploration and trading benefits nothing from multi-crew gameplay-wise. People who join literally have nothing to do when they join, and so thus with simple common sense you can see how unfinished and lacking, as well as how blatantly broken this feature is. You yourself can conclude the following thing: it was rushed and due to mandatory scheduling release dates. It was shoved out like fetuses in abortion clinics. And so finally, 2.4, the return, the final big release, and how was it? Just like virginal sex. Lots of excitement and thrill before the deed is done, but during it you experience a lot more pain, burning sensation and moaning than expected. Personally, I find it to be meh. So the Type 10 was released late, while the ship itself left me with maybe one question in mind. What did they feed to the art team? But overall, this particular, more story-focused update revealed to me how lazy were the people who were in charge of making the so-called story. Hey, we want to move the story forward somehow. Use community goal. Okay, and then what? Community goal. Okay, and then what? Community goal. Oh, and we also need someone to balance our taxes. Should I call Steve? Community goal. Seriously, developers are like Catholic priests to community goals pretty children. Stop! Think of the children! As for Targoid stuff, oh how mysterious and wonderful the first reveal was. Do you remember? I do, and I was so impressed by it. But then during the next E3 they did another community goal about those rare high predictions. Come on, stop! And now Targoids are just there, in the air, slowly creeping towards the human space, and I just can't wait to see the bubble burn. Which probably will be another community goal. Damn it! So overall, Horizons. First a great update, then a game-breaking one, followed by the raisin-covered landmine and that clone from Alien's Resurrection. And finally, slop from the soup kitchen. When I say it like that, it sounds bad, and really the worst were engineers, that are practically impossible to be reversed now, without forums going up in flames about the nerfs and so on, so devs in fear of the backlash won't change it much. As for multi-crew, well, that thing could have been amazing, but it was pulled out too soon, and now it just sits there in the corner next to CQC. I truly wish the state of affairs would be a lot better, but as is, Horizons is mediocre, absolutely fantastic at its pure best, and horrifyingly depressing at its worst. Starting with 2.0, the Horizons update. It brought us the cut. And so, let's take a look at those magnificent collision boxes. Up. There we go, we got something here. Isn't this just wonderful? Oh well, I guess this works, right? Whoa, dude, this is trippy. Dude, I'm tripping balls. Seriously, kids, don't do drugs. Hold on. No loading. If only that was true about the game itself, right? Oh, come on! Oh, come on!